Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Jorisar here, and I'm bringing you some more games from EGL4. This is, of course, the Winners Bracket Round 3, otherwise known as the semi-finals, because the round of 16 was decided by an intense group play game. So we do have here, in the top right of Shakuras Plateau, spawning as the Blue Zerg, none other than Lowland Lions. Oh, really? And in the top left of Shakuras Plateau, we have an incredibly strong UK-based StarCraft gamer, Protoss, spawning in the red, Dignitas.BlinG. I, of course, had the privilege of watching over the shoulder of these guys as they played these games. Incredibly strong players, and the winner of this match, of course, is a best of 3 and will definitely get a ticket into the Winners Bracket Final and have a reasonably good chance at winning the entire thing outright. So really looking forward to seeing what is going on here. Probe Scout coming out from BlinG, and looks like everything very standard so far. No gas from our Zerg player just yet. Going to be going either pool or hatch. We're going to have to wait and see. BlinG, of course, putting the pylon on the low ground there, just as a signal of intent to forge fast expand. So we do have the pool going down for Orly in his base. Looks like he's going to be starting off with a 12 pool, slightly earlier than normal. He's definitely going for some sort of early Zergling aggression, either that or he's just really wanting to make sure he gets map control early from BlinG. That probe doing a little bit of harass, getting shooed away by the drone line, and the Overlord going to pop into BlinG's base and see exactly what he is up to. Forge now going down for BlinG as well, everything looking fairly standard. Overlord at the natural, I presume that's going to move out to somewhere maybe here or in the high ground at the outside of the map at some point soon. Right, the pool is now almost down. Of course, the Probe Scout is still here, wants to make sure that no gas is being taken, and also wants to take a look at the timing on the lings. So he's going to be here until the first lings pop out, just to double check when and how many are popping towards his base. So he's just setting that probe on patrol here to double check. Unfortunately, though, none are going to pop up because he's actually used it as an opportunity to seize his expansion. I can only presume BlinG is going to notice this as he takes his own expansion now and starts the wall up with the gateway. Yes, the probe is going down into the natural. Very nice play from Orly there. Just getting that early pull up to stave off any sort of aggression and make sure that BlinG has to sit back and wait for Orly to do whatever he wanted to do, because he just had the option of getting those lings out so early. So he sacrificed a little bit of economy in the early game, but is playing incredibly safely. Used that 12 pool to get the hatch up very safely. BlinG now taking both gases in his main, and we're going to transition into a nice little macro game. Still no gases being taken from our Zerg player. We have got the photon cannon now finishing up, so that's going to prevent either of those lings from getting into the base. And these lings are just going to camp out at the watchtowers by the looks of things and just keep map control. And I really like this decision here from Orly. He's taking his third base, and the reason, of course, he's doing that is because BlinG now has no map control because of that early pull. And BlinG has to play a little bit blind, so Orly's using the opportunity to be a little bit more greedy with his build. I really like this very much. BlinG has now completely walled himself off, and both players just going to macro up. BlinG is just chrono boosting probes, trying to keep out in the work account. As we see, it's now 23 to 21 in favor of the Protoss, doing a reasonably good job of it. But Orly's going to have an extra base in a little bit of time. So very nice early play, a little bit of a gambit there with that early pull, and it's going to be paying off handsomely if this third base manages to get up and running. Overlord now camped out in the natural expansion of BlinG, just going to check out everything that's going on. Another pylon going down in the mineral line just to stop any sort of help stop any ling run-bys, and also to stick an emergency cannon up if any shenanigans happen later on in the game. Some pretty nice SimCity stuff going on there. And the third base now just completes for Orly, who is still continuing to drone up, but in the meantime, in the main base of BlinG, we have the starport going up. So it looks like we're going for some sort of either Phoenix Void Ray play to try and pick off some drones, or maybe Mass Phoenix, or even just straight up Void Rays. We're going to have to wait and see. We do have the first unit popping out of the starport, and it looks like it's going to be a Void Ray. So BlinG electing to go Void Ray first. We'll see if he covers it up with a couple of Phoenixes, or whether he's just going to go a lot more Void Rays. Both gases now being taken at the natural. We've also got both gases in the main taken from Orly now, as well as the ones in his natural as well, but not at the third. So Orly's starting to get a little bit of an economic edge. we've got the supplies completely dead even at this point in the game, at the 7-minute mark, but are really on an extra base, and hopefully going to try and make that count if Bling doesn't come up with any aggression anytime soon. Unfortunately, this Overlord is going to be able to see that, hang on a second, it looks like someone's gone starport, and if you bake an Overlord at 200 for several hours, boom, that's exactly what happens to it. It's a very nice creep spread going out towards the center of the map here from Orly. And once again, sitting back a little bit, Orly immediately getting those spore crawlers. I like that decision. That Overlord did not die in vain. Double evolution chamber going up. The Roach Warren is already up, but of course he started that before he saw all those void rays. So presumably he's going to get a little bit of defense down first. Spore crawler also going up at the third. Nothing in the natural, but then again that's where the queens were a second ago, unless they've moved. And it looks like they have for now, but the bases are also pretty much connected by creep, so it's not going to matter too much. And the queens, yep, just injecting in the main and heading back down to the natural to defend. This void we're going to very quickly realize that actually this is a bit of a no-go zone with 2 spore crawlers now up here. And they're going to have to poke around elsewhere on the map. Looks like he might be able to pick off an Overlord. He is going to give it a little bit of a tickle. Queen is going to attack it. It looks like he's probably going to get the Overlord before his shields deplete, and boom, another Overlord baked. Unfortunately, though, he's invested quite a lot of minerals and gas into these void rays. He really needs to be doing more than picking off a couple of Overlords, preferably a whole bunch of drones getting picked off. The Queen's targeting the void ray with low shield, so they do a reasonable amount of health damage to it. I like that decision. And these void rays now going to head on up in hopes of being able to do a little bit more damage. Again, the only thing in their path seems to be Overlords at the moment. Bling has no problem picking them off because, you know, a free Overlord is a free Overlord. But, ooh, hang on a second, did I say free? Fantastic transfuse there from Orly, highly impressed. Meanwhile, in the natural, we also see the Spire going down for Orly. We've got the Robotics Bay going down as well for Bling, so he's going to be getting Colossus up at some point soon. And the Spore Crawler is being targeted, but he manages to land, and look at how quickly that thing fires. DPS on Spore Crawlers is absolutely impressive. So, yep, we're going to see him transition into some Colossus play. We've got the Robotics Bay going up there, so Colossi are going to be popping out at some point soon. The Void Rays are now back, killing a couple of drones. Nothing too major. The Spire just about to finish. We've got +1 weapons coming out for the Protoss, 1-1 coming out for the Zerg, as well as Glial Reconstitution for those Roaches. He's preparing to mass Roach at some point in the near future. Of course, he still has to deal with these Void Rays first, so I presume that's what the Mutalisks are going to be for. First Colossus now coming out for Dignitas.BlinG, and 5 Mutas are now on the way as well. 5 Roaches from Orly. Chrono boosting out that extended thermal lance as well, and getting a couple more gateways at the back of his base. Meanwhile, the gateway now being taken at the front, so he can, that's a lot of sentries and a lot of energy, so some potential really good force field micro happening in the near future. Oh, that, wow, those Void Rays and that Observer doing a really good job of picking up creep tumors in the middle of the map, especially on somewhere like Shakuras Plateau. This middle alleyway is going to be so incredibly important in the late game. Void Rays now popping down, but in the meantime we have a nice little Muter attack here. Just popping into the main, gonna kill a couple of probes. That's 1, 2, I count at least 2. Are we gonna get 3? Yep. 3, 4, that's 5 probe kills at the very least. Reasonably good amount of harass going down there from our Zerg player. I like it a lot. These Void Rays just sort of chilling down the bottom, not doing very much, presumably because the Spore Crawlers and the Queens are out to make sure they don't get further in. And we do have Bling attempting to take the third. I'm not sure how much I like this position. He does actually cancel it, but I think the third here might have been a little bit safer. This is very, very aggressive towards the center of the map, and when Orly is sufficiently mobile, I'm not sure that's going to be great, but he does have Colossus out, and he is going to be able to stomp all over those Lings. The question is whether he can keep the Mutalisks under control. Bling now pushing out into the middle of the map. Supplies now 123 for Bling to 151 for Orly. So Orly taking, finally making some very good use of that economic advantage due to that early third base. And Bling is now on creep. Orly knows exactly what's going on. And we're going to see whether the armies decide to engage. Picking up a lot of creep troopers here. And Bling is having the time of his life in the middle of the base, but of course he cannot completely commit. He sees that the Mutas are behind, and he doesn't want them to harass, so the army does quickly skedaddle. Mutas again trying to get this base to cancel. It looks like he's probably going to succeed, or hang on, the Stalk, or is he? The Stalkers are going to hit it. The Mutas are going to hang around, but no, they're going to go up into the main base and they get sandwiched by another bunch of Stalkers. Very, very good job. A couple of Mutalisks going down, but the Mutas deciding to engage. Only 5 Stalkers here, and it's a very good decision there from Orly. Most Zerg players would have just ran away straight away because they saw Stalkers incoming, but I really recognized, hang on a second, I can just about take those Stalkers, and decided to take a few out before going home. So we have got the ground armor level 1 now coming out for the Protoss player, as well as 2-2 for the Zerg. More Mutalisks on the way, as well as an infestation pit, presumably at the natural somewhere. That's where he's been building his tech. There we go. Evolution chambers naturally hard at work, and 34. Okay, the Muses are going back for round 2. Let's take a look. 40 now. Zerglings going to go for a bit of a backup to the roaches that he has in his main. A lot of damage being done by these Muses, a reasonable number of pros being killed, and just immediately backing off, expecting the Protoss army to pop in. But of course, he's not going to do that because BlinG is going for a counter-attack. Those Muses could have actually stayed around if they wanted to. And here come the roaches. A lot of roaches are going to be engaging this Protoss army in the middle of the map. Remember, we have those 40 Zerglings that have popped up that are going to be offering some sort of counter-attack at some point too. And here we go. The force fields go down, but the Protoss army is surrounded from all sides. A really nice little death pull. Very good force fields to surround it. But it looks like there are too many roaches. They can, of course, shoot over the force without the Protoss army, and it looks like that's going to be completely toast. This base is going to be under attack very, very soon. BlinG getting into a very, very nice choke point where the Stalkers are going to be able to do maximum damage, and O'Reilly recognizes this and backs off. 10 more roaches and a lot of Mutalisks still being produced from O'Reilly. He's really liking this Muta-Roach sort of composition. And it looks like, oh no, the Ling run-bys absolutely everywhere in the natural and also in the main. O'Reilly just having a field day right now. Will he actually get the natural? He's got all the probes stop mining in the main. He's got a large amount of the natural. And will the Nexus go down? It's so close. It's at 142 health and the Nexus survives. Well played there, and wow, BlinG managing to pick up the rest of those. Luckily, the third base is now just back up and running, so the probes didn't have to stop mining for long, but the Mutalisks are now back. And this third base has looked like it's, oh no, O'Reilly is maxed out to BlinG's 121, and this is looking terrible for BlinG. Third base does go down. So much harass being done from O'Reilly here. Absolutely great multitasking. Of course, as a Zerg player, that's exactly what you need. Your ability to remax is so quick that you need to not be afraid of losing units even, and you need to be able to attack in about 12 places at once, as these Mutalisks are now demonstrating, although unfortunately not a lot of micro is going on, and it looks like he's going to lose all 3. But that's quite alright. If we take a quick look at the unit counting station, we had 22 workers killed to 3. Damn, O'Reilly is just all over the place this game. Highly impressive. Some sentries trying to make sure the Lings get kept out. A massive roach push, though, from O'Reilly is going to temporarily get pushed back. But he has got 28 Lings in production to bolster this army. Ooh, a very aggressive BlinG forward. The roaches could probably have turned around and attacked there. But now O'Reilly just getting up his 4th base as well, being very, very nice, methodical about this, making sure that, hang on, BlinG isn't mining, and if he isn't mining, I can just sit back and do whatever I want. BlinG's going to do a quick run by in case the 3rd is there. The Protoss are not going to be able to take everything out, despite that offensive link, and boom! The Roach is coming straight back into the 3rd, and Protoss having to head back into the middle of the map. BlinG now under a lot of pressure to make sure this next attack counts a lot. Now, we have got quite a lot of units here, but no Colossi, crucially. And, because I believe Muta production has C, so that said 9 Corruptors and a Greater Spire, so never mind. I wonder how effective this is going to be against the Zerg army. The Lings are going to pop off a couple of Stalkers here, and the Roach is coming in from the right-hand side. It looks like, oh no, hang on, everyone's sort of backing off all of a sudden. The Lings are going to attempt a run-by into the main. Very nice warping of Zealots, but oh no, there's a hole in it! One of the Zealots moves at the very last second, and that gives, oh god, that gives O'Reilly another run by into the natural. The Nexus finally goes down this time, of course, because there were absolutely no health left on that Nexus from last time, only shields, so able to pick that up very, very quickly indeed, and he's now back in the main, completely destroying the probe line. Full chrono boost. BlinG is too busy with everything else out on the map, and rightly so. Those Lings just on hold position to make sure they stay for as much mining time as possible. Meanwhile, these Roaches coming in to try and target down the Nexus. Will they do a better job than the Lings did at the natural? It looks like, ooh, the Nexus on so low, and boom, it does go down. He sacrificed about half his Roaches, and the other half are at the Watchtower. He is just going to quickly fall back onto Creep, though, and just cement his economic advantage. O'Reilly now on 4 bases to BlinG's effectively 1.5 mining bases. This really isn't good for BlinG at all, and he GG's, recognizes that, and leaves the game. Very, very nice multitasking there from O'Reilly, and we're going to wait and see what these guys manage to come up with in Game 2. Lowland Lions, O'Reilly 1, Dignitas.BlinG 0 going into Game 2.